Jeff's perspective. I flipped the music on. I wasn't one for love music and all, but it was the only song I had that was danceable. I took her hand and placed my other hand on her waist. She put her other hand on my back, and I moved slowly, and she followed. We stopped dancing and the music kept playing. She looked at me confused until I placed my lips to hers. She placed her head on my shoulder. We stood there for what seemed like forever. "Jeff," she said. "Yes, Naomi." "You made one of my imaginations come true." I brushed hair out of my face. "I'm glad I could make you happy." My phone buzzed and I let her hand go and checked it. "I have to go back home." I put my phone and speaker in my pocket. "I'll go with you," she said and took my hand. "If you want to, that's fine with me," I said and gripped her hand tightly. "You might want to tell your mom before you go," I said. "Oh, right." She ran off and I waited by the front door. She came back. "Okay, I'm ready now." She opened the door and we walked outside. I held her hand. "Hey, you two idiots almost cost me my life," I heard someone yell behind us. I turned around and saw Troy standing a few feet away from us. He was holding a gun. "This won't turn out so well," I said. "Oh, it'll turn out well for me, but not for you guys," he said. "Hey, look, an ice cream truck." He looked behind him, and I took off, dragging Naomi behind me. "Hey, I don't see no ice cream truck," Keith said, and turned around, but we were gone. I laughed. "That's fat guys for you," I said, and walked up my driveway. I looked behind me. "What's wrong?" "I have to walk back that way. I could get killed." She trembled. I froze, and images flashed in my mind of blood everywhere and her dead body. "You can stay here for a while until he leaves." We walked inside. "Jeff, you're back!" Lou yelled when I came in. "Nice to see you too, Lou," I said. Lou went back to watching his TV show on the couch. I walked into the kitchen and grabbed a bottle of water and walked back into the room to find Naomi standing by the window looking outside. I stood next to her. "There's a storm coming in," she said. "I hate storms," Lou said. I tossed a pillow in the air. "How can you tell?" I asked, looking at the sky. "See those dark gray clouds rolling in fast? Those are storm clouds," she said. I poked a hole in the top of the water bottle. "Watch this," I said. I walked behind Lou and squirted the water down his shirt. "Ah, that's freezing!" He fell off the couch. I laughed. I looked over at Naomi, who was trying to hold her laugh in. "That's not funny, Jeff." Lou threw a pillow at me, but he missed. "You missed me by a mile," I said. "What if I wasn't trying to hit you?" He gave me that smug look of his. "If you were trying to hit me, it didn't work," Naomi said, and threw a pillow back at him. Lou looked dazed for a minute. "Nice throw, Nao," he said. "Wait, you caught that?" I was confused. "I have good reflexes." I stood there for a second. "Are you positive you have good reflexes?" I asked and picked up another pillow. "Yeah, I'm positive," she said, and turned away from me. I threw the pillow and hit her on the back of the head, making her head snap forward and hit the window. "Jeez, man, you didn't have to throw the pillow that hard," Lou said and laughed. She stumbled and hit the floor. "Ouch, that really hurt." She held her head. "Oops, I honestly didn't mean to throw it that hard. Maybe I should have waited till you turned around," I said. "Hey, at least I'm not bleeding this time," she said. "Yeah, your head might hurt for a while, though," Lou said. She got up and looked out the window again. "I think I'm safe to go." She opened the door. "See you later." She walked out and down the street and disappeared around the corner. It began to rain hard. "She was right," I said, and then I heard it. A gunshot rang throughout the neighborhood. "What in the world was that?" Lou peeked over the couch. I grabbed the biggest knife I could find in the knife drawer and ran outside in the rain. I ran down the street and around the corner and saw Keith and Naomi's front yard. "Well, what do we have here? Another one, coming for killing, I presume." Keith pointed the gun at me. "No way you can dodge a bullet, pipsqueak," he said. "I'm feeling lucky today," I said. He shot the gun, but nothing came out, only a puff of smoke. Keith dropped the gun and ran. Not so fast! I threw the knife as hard as I could, and it lodged itself into his head. I ran into the yard and knelt in the grass. Naomi's mom came running out. I heard a gunshot and called the police and an ambulance, she said. She looked down and cried out, "Oh, please, not my little girl." The ambulance pulled up, and 2 medics jumped out of the back and put Naomi on a stretcher. "Do you two need a ride to the hospital?" the woman asked. I nodded and hopped in the back of the ambulance as the woman helped Naomi's mom in the back. I sat there in silence. As soon as we got to the hospital, I jumped out and I rolled her away into an emergency room surgery room. Her mom sat in the chair outside the room while I paced back and forth. I got a text from Lou. "Where are you?" I texted him back. "At the hospital. There's been an accident." I sent the message and instantly got a reply back. "Mom and I are on our way now." I paced back and forth some more. Lou ran right through the front doors and crashed right into me. "Ouch!" I rubbed my head. "Sorry, Jeff," Lou said and helped me up. "How's she doing?" my mom asked. "That's just it. I haven't heard anything." I frowned, and I paced some more. "If you keep pacing like that, you'll wear a hole in the floor," Lou said. I stopped walking and sat down. The door to the surgery room opened, and a doctor came out of it. I looked up as he talked to Naomi's mom. I sneaked away and looked into the surgery room. It's empty. I held back tears. I walked back out and sat down. "What's wrong with you, Jeff? You should be happy," Lou said. "Why should I be happy?" I asked, super confused. "You didn't hear the news, did you?" he said. I shook my head. "They got the bullets out. It missed her heart and brain by a millimeter," he said. I breathed a sigh of relief. "If you want to go see her, she's in the first room down the hall," my mom said. I walked down the hall and looked into the room. She's sitting up in the bed with this bored look on her face. She also had a bandage that wrapped itself around her eye and around her head. "Hey," walked into the room and her face lit up. "Hi!" "How are you feeling?" I asked. "Well, my chest and my head hurt really badly." She frowned. "Lou told me the bullets missed your heart and your brain by a millimeter," I said. "I guess I'm just lucky like you." She smiled a little. I sat down on the edge of the bed. "I have food for the patient." Lou poked his head in. "What kind of food?" she asked. "Well, you have a chicken quesadilla, 2 tacos, and 2 cinnamon twists looking things," Lou said, peering into the bag. I got up and took the bag. "Thanks, little brother." I handed her the bag. "I guess my mom got enough food for the 2 of us," she said. She took the food out of the bag and handed me my portion of stuff. I ate and looked into the mirror in the room. "Do I look beautiful to you?" I asked without thinking. "What?" she asked. I said, "Do I look beautiful to you? I mean, the way I look now." I looked into her eyes. "Yes, you do." I stared deeper into her eyes. "Good. You aren't lying to me." I smiled widely.